Nice shot on Motor. That's going to keep him in. That's going to keep him in right there. So he did confirm on it. That's at least going to be a point for them. But now it's Boyer in the low ground. What a big pop on Clement. Clement, no clutching today, buddy, as he gets taken out. E11, Boyer, and Verox are still in the running here. 3 duos remain. It's going to be a 1v2v2. Quick edit right there. Can he get it? Nice trap play. Is going to catch Tohaj. Tohaj is out, but he got the placement points he deserved. Can these shots come up? Now he falls down here. They actually still have builds as well. It's a 2v1 situation, and Smiley goes down to Boyer's pump and follow-up right there. Shayo, what an endgame.
I did not expect this trio to be the one to come out on top. So many storylines clashing against each other on the side of Storm, on height, on running out of ammunition. Sundown, tell me what these players invested. Tell me what they lost in this game.
Well, I mean, Boyer and crew invested a lot, and they got it. MMB lost a lot, and they are now up against it going into the last match. Europe doesn't disappoint. We're going to get straight into the standings because that's what I want to talk about. I mean, first, it's just like Boyer, Motor, Verox, 23 points, 8 eliminations in the victory round, up into first place just behind them. Shinken, Stompy, Aqua, Tohaj, Belleu, Taxi, Falcony, Robobs, the Vic, all on 51 points. However, Shinken, Stompy, Aqua, Boyer right there getting the victory rounds. That's going to be the first tiebreaker. One thing to note, let's go all the way down. You can see MMB down there, but they are 16 points clear. A victory royale is 15 points. That means every single person on this page, every single trio going into the final match. There are no runaway trains here. Everybody is in play. Every engagement matters. If you take a fight against one of these teams, you could be sending someone out of the match back to lobby and dropping someone in your contention. It comes down to the final match, and it couldn't be closer. I mean, just look at some of the names up here. We talked about Tohaj, Bella, and Caxi. Boyer, the original one to turn it on and go. The World Cup qualifying stars, Shinken and Stompy, with the duo World Cup champion Aqua in second place. I mean, it is loaded. And then also, Smiley, Luki, and Arthur are having a great day as well. They have been in every single endgame, anchoring in with only the 14 points, but rotating incredibly well and being there. I mean, it's so absurdly close, and this is the best of the best. 5 games down, 1 game left, but we're going to take a look at some of the highlights that came in from this last game, get you caught up on maybe some of the moments you might have missed. So this is the retail fight we've been talking about, and actually going back and checking some of the early games. Kong and crew really wanted to contest MMB the first 2 games. They were looking for it and looking to scout in third party as they hit onto the Cube Fiends. The key being, though, they didn't roll the Brute, and in the first 2 games, MMB didn't separate. MMB off the start were tight on top of each other, looking to see if anybody was coming in, and then spread out. That was the difference in matches 3, 4, and 5. This time they came through and contest. You can see the Gamers Origin crew now looking to try and pick up as many points as possible. They're just on the outside looking in as well. Daedra putting up a great individual effort there. Now you can see Omagin, Takar, and Krace getting the Solari nades out, making sure they line them up, using all 10, and the tags coming through onto the Gambit duo plus Dementos, and you can see Tokar just throwing some shots over there, making sure they confirm those and seeing the points tick through. But it's all about Boyer. Originally it was Vamos España, but now Boyer is bringing it all back, returned to form. Looks like he was reborn, playing with Motor and Verox. A different level of communication, a different level of skill and mentality. They are going at players. They want to fight, and particularly we have now seen 2 low ground victory royales coming out, very different from the high ground gameplay, and it's just nice to see someone who hasn't necessarily been right back at the top returning to form. It's a redemption story, and he has launched his team all the way back up into first place. 5 eliminations coming out there, 3 for Verox, 23 points, and they currently sit 3 points clear of that 3-way fracas in second to fourth. But the stage is set. The games are ready. 5 are down, 1 to go, and I couldn't think of anyone better to bring it home than Monster D and Shawager. Gentlemen, close it on out.
Sundown, thank you so very much. And exactly like you said, we couldn't have had a closer running in these final moments. There are so many teams in contention here. It could be anyone's game right now, Shayo. We're in the Europe Finals, Game 6. This is the defining moment for all of these guys. Who will be the Season X champion of Europe?
That question is going to be answered sooner than later because the biggest issue these guys are having near the top is their drop spot. Whether it's Game 1 or Game 5, that's where the issues are at. That's where they're trying to fix it up. Retail is the main focus. Who's going to survive? We see 8 different trios going there in the top 20 even. Victors as well. MMB who tried to hold it down. It's chaos on the map right now, Monster.
Speaking about chaos, Gotham City has well over 3, 4, or 5 teams there. As you can see now, just take a look right here. Benji Fishy, Mitro's there. We have a weird change of events as Mongrel and his crew has also decided to land in Gotham City. So they're trying to switch it up in the final game here. They need a big point. They know they need a big turnaround because they fell from their consistency. They were targeted at Retail Row. We talk about adapting, and take a look. They had a strategy up their sleeves for Game 6.
Looks like a lot of people wore the same shirts or sweaters because another trio we saw at Retail, Ketcher actually from Atlantis, he as well is in Gotham City too. So it can only be one person's city. Mr. Wayne's not here right now. Who's going to be the one to claim the title of Gotham?
You cannot count out Amplify and his team who have been sticking here, stride and true since the beginning. So I like what's going on here. Benji and Mitro say, hey, let's get some guns. Let's get out of here. We actually don't want to fight all these squads. It's too much of a risk. So instead, they're going to rotate in and make someone else's day miserable.
Yeah, look at the effect on the mental. One of the most confident trios on Twitter, on social media, in-game as well with their actions, disengaging an early drop. Unprecedented. I've never seen it before, but Game 6 brings out the strategy and the bold choices you must make to survive and gain those points later on if possible when you're playing in the Fortnite Grand Finals.
But you know what? You bet they did their homework. You bet they did their homework. These guys have had shifty shafts relatively uncontested. They've been splitting up. If you just took one look at the map in early game, these will be easy arrows to single out. We saw it from the beginning of the game. I called it. I was like, yo, take a look at this wide landing. They didn't even land in shifty. They just took spots all around the side. So maybe we see a little bit of counter tactic here as they're trying to single out one player here and see what they can do. Marking a big build fight in Gotham there now. They're just trying to optimize.
Yep, one big thing people like to criticize MMB for is, hey, all you ever do is land retail. That is where your brain's at most of the time. Your early drop is the reason you win. These guys have the biggest brains. They know how to actually break down retail. They know how to make a good contingency plan as well, right? This drop, actually, the split of just taking 2 buildings from Gotham, then moving to Shifty, unlooted as well, is genius, right? And it's not just dropping in a POI.
There's a team here. So can they perform outside of their native home, the Retail Row lands? Of course they can, but they have to put it together. The question is, do they have enough loot at this point? All right, Benji Fish coming down here. The fight has already began. They have someone tunneled in and tarped in. Unfortunate for this player here as they're boosting their way through that build. It's Jesse who's going to go down right away. And now that Elim is theirs. And they're all 3 huddled up here. This is not the team you want to get into a box fight with at all, Shayo.
Not even that. The worst thing you can do for MMB when you're facing them is giving them confidence, giving them momentum. Might have been lost in these earlier games, but having these hard mats of metal early on, having attack SMG combined with a tactical shotgun, nades and minis to boot with full shields. Even if Mitro's low on HP, his mind is on cloud 9 at the moment. They know they're confident. They're going to now go aggress on this fight. It's going to be a insane game early on in the Fortnite Grand Finals.
Hopping over to the other side of the map, you can see teams that were by retail now. Frey, Raze, and Doozy going in for the fight here. They have the high ground. They're in a battle, but someone's going to get rocked from the side there as Poocher gets taken out. And their teammate Doozy gets traded as well. So the down has happened. Quick little ramp reset right there. He's waiting for the edit. Makes it. That's a white shot. You know he's going to go for the next one. Cyber goes down as well. Can they find a third right now as things start to slow down here? Doozy's still knocked though, so they can get the save off.
Yep, this is insane too because they're at 10 points right now, right?
Yes.
Every point gained when it's so close to the top and the bottom as well escalates them in placement overall within the game too. Solely right now, back against the wall, Raze as well, trying to heal up. maybe pick up dues if possible. We'll see what goes on at the moment in this fight. Shockwaves are available, though. Once again, a fully fleshed out loadout this early on. Teams are getting even more efficient as they play, but using them at the right time is the proper question, right? Shockwaves have been in the game for so long. I did a breakdown on them earlier in the weeks as well. People are now used to beaming people who use them for an advantage. So timing is crucial for Frey, and timing is crucial for every team in the match at the moment. Just first zone, but it is the last game of the heat. 87 people left alive. Storm Surge is a problem.
So taking a look at Stormy's perspective there, he's going to eat the big tactical to the face right there as he was sneaking around the low ground with no help. So that squad has now been taken out. Their run here in the FNCS finals has come to a close. But congrats on making it this far. Just got to give thanks to all the competitors that have pushed throughout the weekend, throughout the qualifiers. This has been a long series of events here. And if you made it this far, you know, you should feel good about yourself. You're still a winner.
Yep, let's recap, right? You had to play through those first 5 weeks. That was mentally straining enough because it was the first time people were actually locked into picking trios, learning with their team. There was no chance of escape because then you risk losing those consistency points, right? Now you're in those heats as well, dealing with having those 6 games. You lose those early on. You want to be able to keep that momentum, keep that drive, and adapt your playstyles, as we saw MMB even do, the most momentous team, switching and dropping retail to Gotham. So it's a very good growing experience for everyone, regardless of where you place in the grand finals. Even if you did or did not make it, so many instances to learn from in this entire process.
So it looks like Kezher, Marcus, and Trippin probably dropped Amplify, Maso in their last trio there here in Gotham City as they now own it to themselves with those 3 eliminations, and they could just take free reign over this territory here, get their farm up. That's going to set them up real nice. We saw so many teams land here, but they are the ones who we're going to call king today of Gotham right now. As we already know, Mongrel, Mitra, and Benji did rotate out 2 shifty shafts. Just taking a look here at the little map, you can see all of this is unfolded just in the first zone. There's so much action already happening here, and the rotations are already beginning. If I had to guess with the amount of teams heading hard south right now, this zone is probably going to go way down south.
Yep, but let's not forget the point breakdown at the top. We have 2 teams with wins who are in contention to actually win the whole thing. 2 teams, the Vic, who was actually at the top before this final Game 5 that just happened, does not have a victory royale. He needs to get one in the book to make sure, just in case there's a tiebreaker, everything's fine. And once again, mention it in other regions as well, everyone is in the same game. So anything that happens to a certain trio on their leaderboard has rippling effects to everyone else behind and ahead of them. Whether it's making people more uncomfortable or making them, you know, kind of ease their minds knowing that they have a secured placement for themselves. There's a lot to think about for these guys, as well as rotating and getting elims on the move around the map.
Talking about rotations, you can see over at the map, I think it's Camo, Harmy, and Pepper, but no, wait, MMB is on their way back through Gotham City. I recognize those skins right there. Tripper and Kezher and Marcus are about to get into a 3-way clash here with one of the strongest trios on the scene right now. They need these elims, they need these points right here, and that's why they're going to be bloodthirsty. They're going to be so hungry to get them because they have to make it into top 5. They have to battle their way back up the train, back up the ladder here, we should say. Benji's in the fray of it. He's in the house. He's hunting here. Mongrel, Mitro find the opportunity. Trippin's actually going to get the first exchange right there. So they're in the lead for the battle right now. But Marcus has no shield either. What is Tripper going to do? Is he owns all the floors right now?
Yep, and at the moment as well, look at the instantaneous, use of utility. Let's look at the top 10 as well at the moment too. We got Boyer at top. They just won the last game. Chicken Stop, we've been very consistent on high ground, but have lost 2 of the games too. Falcon Lee, Robabs, and the Vic were staying up there the whole time throughout the day, but now have to reclaim their spot. The top 10 in contention too. The points breakdown, it's just 10 points. Mongrel goes down. He actually goes down though.
Mongrel's going to get taken out there by the SMG play. Very sneaky by Tripper, and he converts on the Elam. That is not what they wanted to happen here, as they are fighting in a very weird position, and now the aggro is on. They want this. No. They get the shot on Benji, and Benji falls with the big 95. Can Mitro clutch it in the final moments? But he's, of course not. It's 3 shotguns to 1 right there, and Camo, Harmy, and Pepper probably pushing in right here, as they have heard the shots. Another trap play comes out. This team is on fire right now. Gotham City is theirs. Bye-bye, Clement. Once again, cannot do anything. Tripper is on a rampage here. Kezer's down, though. Marcus is extremely hurt. If they can't get the siphon right here, he's probably going to have to disengage right now, Shayo.
Yep, Trippin's actually going on full throttle, but is almost out of fuel. Now bandaging up again. Let's see if he can drive straight in and get the sub. Kezer's actually going. This is huge. They can have an entire new body, 5 new inventory slots to once again use. The rev is actually going to be coming right up. This fight might just be disengaged. Remember, every player now in the map also saw exactly who went down, right?
Sometimes.
The Kings they've fallen.
They've fallen. That's it. They're out of the running, guys. They've had a great run thus far, and they have fallen indeed. But the respectful disengage here. Clement says, hey, listen, Trip, you hit me pretty hard. That was a nice trade. I'm out of here, buddy. You can have Gotham City. The Kings of Gotham survive the running. Can they make it to endgame now? As we jump back into Stompy, Chinkin, and Aqua, we saw them hold this position before. Unfortunately now, zone favor is not with them, so they're already moving. Using the hoverboard is going to allow them to cut straight across the field. And when we talk about it, the main problem so far has been the storm surge for them. So now they move on to the next mountain, where they're probably going to siege up against some more players.
Yep, the premeditation of this trio, just to know exactly how their drop shot's breaking down. On the right as well, we see Savage and his trio rotating as well. Everyone now is on that wavelength of, listen, the back half of the points, the 15 for the Victory Royale, all the elims you can get on Storm. Oh my God, actually, look, breaking it down. The trio's actually bunched up on this mountain, on the snow side, on the transfer towards Fatal Fields.
Top 5.
They're in the top 5. This is going to be actually momentous in terms of if there's a knock, if there's a tag, on how people are moving, because everyone is a little bit trigger happy. Bella EU
I love
actually,
what just happened. I love what just
Oh
happened.
my.
Aqua with the money grenade shots right there, actually going to take him out, forcing a shield bubble to come down, but it's not going to be enough. Shockwave for the disengage here. Tohaj, Caxi, and crew needs to get out. Can Bella EU back up in time? They're all so hurt. Aqua's not going to let him go. He's a World Cup champion here. He's not going to let him go. They're on the pressure here. Okay, all right. He decides it's not enough. They back up just far enough. They're doing so good consistency-wise. They don't want to go for it. Little do they know, though, that's some of their biggest competition right there.
Yup, the tunnel vision's not there, which is great, but this is kind of the journey they've been through in this entire match, right? They've been hit so hard in the beginning and early on. Now they know the extent of you have to kind of bulk up, and oh my God, who needs bulk when you have precision? Darker only getting even more dark and shady underneath the tree. Not enough time or actually objects in front of you to save yourself, my man. Split off of his trio in the river. That Elam's going to be confirmed. Remember, it was a 3-point difference for these guys from the top. Now they just caught up. We'll see if this is going to be enough, and these mats and utility dropping going to be enough for these guys to have a more advantage in the late game.
Slowly but surely, they're closing that gap there indeed. Crew, Chapix, and their last teammate, Beehive, is here in Fatal Fields. We also have Savage, Item, and Rojo. All of our top 5 contenders so close to one another. These guys are all in the top 10 running here to take away the FNCS finals. Every single engagement matters because it is that close in the final leaderboards. If you fall, you give away your position to another team who's only climbing that much higher. That's how close it is right now.
Yep, and it's Savage's actual second chance, a very similar loadout that we saw before. He has the shockwaves and the RPG again, but a big cheese moment coming out in the fields. He actually goes down. That is a huge elim. A big part of that trio as well. When all 3 of them are up, that's when they perform the most. Losing one of your big links might actually be a big bump in the road for these guys to have a successful endgame. Big win conditions there too. Chug splashes, RPGs, and shockwaves lost to that trio.
Now the question is, can they get the reboot card? They own all of this. Item, Rojo, and Savage are in the 5th place right now. Crew, Chapix, and Beehive are in 8th place. Caxi, Tohaj, and their teammate, they're so high. They're in 3rd place with Bella EU. This is how close it is. They're all next to each other. If any single team take a battle with the other, they're going to fall in the ranks and someone's going to take the lead here.
See, that's the pressure these guys are dealing with, but the zone movements still happen, right? You have to make calls. We saw it with Aqua. You still have to bulk up, but tunneling like Savage did there a little bit too hard, gauging too much in exploration. At this point, Game 6, the last of the grand finals, can prove absolutely fatal. It looks like people are actually getting trapped back on this side of the river as well in the mid game. Every moment matters right now. You want to make sure your loop path and movement is efficient, but being a little bit too efficient opens up holes in your builds, right? Using just wood, that's when SMG players want to pressure you, especially if it's this close range, Monster.
That's right. Little did he know there was someone sneaking close by, but that's why Pate and Dretta and Ritz here are setting up the ambush. They have the slight elevation and advantage over them. Stinkers are going to be unsuccessful, at least the first one per se. In comes the shield bubble to block any others from coming in, and they want to bring this box battle here. And Dretta's actually underrated when it comes down to box battle, similar to a Click's play style. He is fast, he's sharp, and he's witty with it, and that's why they win this exchange here. Pate and Andretta actually connect so hard right there. Another one. Fish Skin is just going to give it away. They know he's not on the team. Down goal Scalar to the fall right there. And this squad was in 10th or 11th place. Ritz, Andretta, and Pate were in the running, so all of these elims propelled them way high up, as that's a 4-point swing in their favor.
Yep, just look at the defensive trigger finger, instantly just dropping shield bubbles anywhere that's possible, taking bold edits without hesitation. Once again, using another shield bubble, which are so crucial on reaction, but now this is pro-reactive. Andretta in the driver's seat, usually as the IGL when things go bad in the trio. He's the one always working within chaos. He knows that, hey, I don't want to be in this situation anymore. Endgame hasn't even started yet. Let's get situated, and then let's move after that. Now the field is kind of calm. We don't see many people going down. This is where all the strats are being made up, Monster. What would be the best play to make for the trios at the top?
You gotta claim a mountain. Do what Stompy, Chinkin, and Aqua are doing right now. They have the high ground to the left. And I'll correct myself, Andretta, Ritz, and Pate are actually in 7th when we last checked in, so they are so high in the running. But you have to claim some of that high ground. Get a zone to pass by without anything too crazy, because if you're out here in the fields, this is rough. This is the worst case scenario for you.
Yep, right now, this clue show, right, it's just hesitation. On the mini-map, you can see it as well. People see the zone, but I guess everyone's just calming so hard right now and spending so much time in these hard build mats on the edge. They're kind of wrecking themselves before their game even starts. It is game 6. There's a lot of pressure at the moment, but you can't let that hinder your game plan moving forward. Now the zone moves. Thomas taking ticks, going for a late launch pad. Provoked is there to watch it though, taking beams. Falcon Lee, can he get his wings snipped and fall down? No. Gets into a shield bubble, instantly using hard mats as well. Very smart. That 6-game process, learning exactly what you need to do. Has very good tools to use from this range as well. Heavy sniper, infantry rifle. Very good tools to actually get those damage spots done and take these one-off shots from odd angles. We'll see if this trio can use this position on edge circle to hopefully get a zone bounce back and move forward on their rotation.
Our first place team, E11 Boyer Vurox and Mortar sitting close by just underneath them right there. Now take a look. We have Left Eye, Zypan, Red Rush up in the high ground, Caxi, Bella EU, and Tohaj just below that. They're all in the safe zone right now. Mind you, beautiful stinkers coming out, just hitting that clutter zone over there of builds, and that's why they're pressuring. Because remember, when you're making that edit, your defense goes down, your back is turned. You can't block the suppressed fire, let alone hear the shots. It becomes that much harder. But taking a look up here, you have Luki, Artur, and Smiley. Again, they've been in the running. We haven't even heard much of them. Just been consistent so far today, and that's what you like to see, new faces rising up here. But Stompy, Chinkin, they have the zone.
You think that those are the orange markers on the mountain?
Yes,
there's no way.
There's no
way. Yes, it is. The prime time position, the only mountain at the moment that could possibly be hit from this zone. It is the Kings now reigning over the region. MMB is down. Chinkin, Stompy, Aqua are on top at the moment, figuratively and literally on the map as well. They have to battle through from 2nd to 1st at the moment. 2 shield bubbles though, and a lot of utility to use as well. 1 Elim already down on Stompy, so these guys do have a lot of the pressure that they took off the trio they got the Elim with. We saw that in the river before, so they own this whole backside. Using this position, have elevated ground as well. I mentioned this with Lupo the other day, right? When people launch pad, which they will, to them, they're going to deploy right in front of their faces. Having these ARs is going to be huge for these guys.
They just got to drop to land right above their heads. If that's not lucky, I don't know what is. But here comes the server. 9 out of the top 10 teams are still in the lobby here. Left Eye is going to fall down to Chinkin as every point just propels them with a huge swing. So here comes the grenades. This is going to be huge pressure. It's just going to trickle down the mountain as well. Remember, these explodes are going to crack open and fracture all of the builds. Taking a look at a little aerial view here, you can see what's going on. Look at this beautiful shot of the high ground hold and how they just have this entire mountain to themselves right now.
So what this does for this trio, having this much pressure from 3 different angles, it stops other trios in front of them. And since everyone's on that wavelength of using hard mats, It puts a great wall right in front of their actual high ground, putting more of an elevated mid-ground from natural low ground. Follow me with me here, right? If the entire server is elevated, rockets reach your enemies faster.
And
right, an example
that,
right there.
Artor
goes down.
With a huge one. Campfire giving away the location and the placement. Little pressure on the walls there. That's another point that's going to swing in their favor. Finally, they are finding their elims with the high ground. We saw last game they struggled to find it, but they took placement with that high ground. This is going to be another game where they're just going to run it across the tarp here. Heavy Sniper's going to be able to crack something open. Can they follow up with some AR shots? That is the question right now, as the zone is going to cut back across, but they still have the favorable spot.
Yep, every single AR shot too, with how they've kind of structured people to stop in front of them and build up, will hit harder. Every headshot will hit for that max damage. The damage drop-off will not be there if they stick close enough to the ground. The big thing is, though, there's so many other shockwaves in the game on other trios. The lower you are, the more risk you kind of run with these shockwaves coming on unexpectedly out of hard mats. You can't predict it, but let's see if the accuracy is high enough for this God trio to get more elims. Mosquitoes all over the server. They have the swatters. Can they get any preliminary elims before this endgame rotation starts? Chinkin is on the lead. Stompy out back. Aqua being the insurance all the way behind the trio. Their hard mats now getting used. Once again, they're on the 5th zone, keeping height. This is how they lose that height and the mats near the end of the game. They have to be very careful, Monster, moving forward.
That's right, but they're doing A-OK, as any team that steps up to them is meeting the heavy snipe pump combo, as Stompy is putting down the shots here. So Upsy Daisy he goes here. There's still 36 players remaining. Falcony falls down in the feed, unfortunately for him, and Ben, oh my gosh, you just look at the feed lighting up. There goes Mitro. There goes another, as these guys are looking for the shots right now. Can Stompy find another right here?
Ooh.
And it's not looking quite successful just yet. They still have shield bubbles too if they have to protect any of their back layers here.
Yep,
tarping out.
Chinkin's on top. They're going to be contesting a little bit, but going to stay up. They're only on one tarp, though. Aqua on the back defending, but if there's an immediate shot towards Chinkin and Stompy, that's a bad problem for them. They're going to drop down. The big thing is, well, Monster, look at this split.
Motor goes down.
We have the duo together who perform so well in roles together, and Aqua, the overlord who knows the plays, who's won the competition at the back. It's a genius split, very efficient at the moment. The only thing they have to care about and watch out is for their mats. They got to make sure they have the resources to close out this game.
Here's why it's perfect. They're so high that they cannot be affected by shockwaves, so it doesn't matter. Like, Chinkin might get hit down, but they won't. They're still way up top. And there comes the little assistance, if you want to call it that. This could be a crucial loop delivery for more materials as they fight their way up. Can they get it right here? And Dretta's still in the running. Pate catches Daedra, and Chapix catches another. Ooh. There goes M10 Pepper getting taken out right there. Bye to him. Can they find another? And it is. It's going to be X8, and it's looking like this trio is going to take it away right now if they can just continue to hold out. It's not over yet. G2 Tohaj is still in the game too.
Yep, at the moment, 14 people left alive. Looks like there's 9 trios placement. It's still good to go around. Amazingly, Stompy, Chinkin, Aqua still have height from the half and half, from the 4th zone, from the top of the mountain. Now they're on the top of the leaderboards. Shield bubble still there. Heavy Sniper to add some flavor into any elims they can get. Shields being popped. Stompy stomping on the competition below him. There's wood mats now. Players are running out of the important materials to defend them from the game. Nick up top, just look at the actual HP at the moment. No one's actually peeked out, and if they do, Nyx's health bar gets depleted. They have eyes. Not even 6, but it seems like 12, a million eyes on the whole server, top down, Monster.
That's right, but it's not over yet. We did see Virox for a second in the feed there. We know he's the first place, so he's still getting placement as the server continues to go on. It's anyone's game right now, but can they continue to close out? I love it. Chinkin goes all the way up trying to stay safe right now. Here comes Stomp. He's going to fall down. He's one that gets down and dirty for these elims right here. He has to get in the box plays. Only 9 builds remain. They have the ammunition. They actually have everything. This time around, they're finding some elims.
6 people left alive, 4 trios up. There still is 1 more, 2 more placements to go with the victory royale. Now the downsprout of builds have to come down. Waterfalls need to be there. Shockwaves go up. It's a beam. Nikava goes down. It's a 3v1 at the moment. The big shotgun. The victors of the region. Stompy, Chinkin, Aqua take it home. The Europe Finals, Game 6, the grand final. Winners of the region, 76 points. The victory royale.
10 eliminations from the trio right here, showing why they're a world-class trio. Can they bring it all the way home? We'll find out shortly with Sundown and Zeke in the studio.
I mean,
it's pretty definitive.
Yeah, I mean, they're in first place, winning the match, took the high ground through, everyone else dropping all the way out. And I mean, What more could you ask for? The World Cup qualifying terror of Shinken and Stompy back with a vengeance, adding in the World Cup champion duo, Aqua. God, it was nuts seeing them surge in the back half, able to overcome what a lot of people thought they wouldn't be able to do. MMB falling short. Let's take a look at those final standings because, I mean, Europe was insane. What a treat to kick off the grand final broadcast. And as you can see, Shinken, Stompy, Aqua, congratulations. You are the European Season X champions, taking home your share of just under $500,000, 76 points, 13 clear, and also have to give a shout out to Andretto. While we were watching on the high ground, he went on a tear on the low ground and was just running through, basically 1v9ing and putting the team on his back to push them all the way up into second place. Boyer again making it into the end game, the victory royale clutch being the difference there between third and fourth in a nice little payday as well. And then Tohaj, Bella EU, and Caxi continuing the trend of consistency and placement, rounding it out, just falling short. And again, we see a pretty clear drop-off right there after that. I mean, 8 points is significant across, but again, congratulations to everyone here. MMB just on the outside looking in, a rough back half for them. But I mean, again, Zeke, this was so good. The gameplay was fantastic. Storylines were there. Seeing all the contested and then just
Before the storm circle gets too small, where it forces
champion Booga, stretch and
along with your early, middle, and end game per game.
trying to promote anything. I lived with him for 2.5 months. He moves from place to place like that, particularly when he's excited, not even intentionally. He just kind of scurries around like that. Zeke, I don't think it's efficient. No.
It's Zeke's natural state.
This is Championship Sunday, Zeke. This is serious business.
We'll have a talk with him after the show. Don't worry, folks. We'll take care of it. But you're right. NA East coming up. We have 6 games in store here. One of the most hyped up regions because, honestly, for as far as social media goes, the engagement from some of these players, I mean, they're all over the place. We've seen them countless times in previous events where you and I have both had opportunities to commentate over them. I'm looking forward to seeing the duo from Sentinel plus Bucky landing at retail and keeping hopefully some consistent drops there. Although we did see in Europe that if that drop is contested, things can go bad pretty quickly.
I mean, you're so occupied on other things, but the matches are ready. Will it be the veterans, the Tfus, the Vivids, and the Chaps of the world? Will somebody rise up? Will we see Bucky, Animal, and Aspect continue their domination, or will another World Cup champion stake his claim as a Season X champion as well? Match 1, NA East. We're underway, Lupo. We're dropping from the bus. Let's get it.
Excited to see where people decide to drop. A lot of these drops have been very, very practiced by players, so the option to maybe change it up, not necessarily high on the board unless they get contested and things go bad. We saw towards the end of the European finals, players were electing to go to different locations. We will see how this plays out.
And last night, so I stayed up, watched Oceania, watched Mr. Fresh Asian, the server replays, and the X2 twins. But Bucky and Parpy were going back and forth the entire time in the X2 twins chat, while the rest of NAEs who should have been sleeping were just watching them be like, you still going retail? You what? You just want to be eliminated off drop every time? Like, come on. You're not anything. OCE up. Let's go. But now, hopping on board here with the solo World Cup champion, Booga, Stretch, and Clarity. They're over in Moisty Palms, not forced away from the prop hunt. They said, hey, we've staked the claim. We like the loot. And I mean, shout out to Destiny Jesus, who actually did a little bit breakdown here. There's a lot of stuff in Moisty Palms, and not a lot of people are wanting to go fight over there, but you do see Kaz on the split drop by Prison with Stretch, so maybe an engagement over there potentially?
A 1v1 situation right now as the rest of his trios nowhere to be seen on the minimap thus far. So if they wanted to, they could potentially apply pressure if Stretch feels like he's in a confident position. We'll have to see here in a second. Meanwhile, Greasy Grove, no taco time currently, but Rogue Shark, Flossin, Knight, holding it down. A little bit of a 1v1 inside the house. Tack shot lands there. Looks like quite a bit of shield damage. Rogue Shark going to try and rotate up. So we can find an angle, and there it is, the angle found. J-Love. He's Germ.
Oh, taco time!
That actually might end up saving him, at least temporarily.
I mean, so he will end up rejuvenating a little bit of health there, but no help coming in enough or not enough to delay him over. Too far separated, and you can see Ando and Germ trying to find an angle. Floss and making sure he keeps Germ's head down, keeps the pressure, and Germ has now also rotated onto metal, indicating that he's pretty much out of materials. The early Elam giving a quick influx into Rogue Shark should give them the advantage in this fight.
This should be a signal soon. If Flosson can get a solid flank from over on the left, which he's in position for, pressure might be the best call here. Rogue Shark picking up a taco, get a little bit of that speed buff plus the 10 shield off of it. You see him perched up on top. A restaurant there right in the middle. I'm expecting relatively soon Flosson will make a move here. He has the best pinch position. May just rotate over with Rogue Shark. That's going to be the case. So both are pushing up now with Knight on the right side.
Ando is just in such a bad position right now. He is getting pinched from all over. He's trying to get a cheeky angle with that, but just caught way out in the open. Taco Time going to reserve that up. Zappers are there trying to play around that. He is able to disengage, and because they didn't have shields, that's actually a lot of effective health in the trade that Floss the Knight and Rogue Shark aren't really getting. However, this should eventually be cleaned out. They're keeping the angles. They have the mat advantage. Ando's down. Jerb is down. Taco Time has been completed, and Greasy Grove belongs to Rogue Shark, Lawson, and Knight.
Trio pickup right there. 3 eliminations. The first 3 very early in game 1. 89 players still to go. Going to continue to farm down here. Occasionally, I guess, grab some tacos in midair and continue the run around, but looting should be essentially free reign at this point for the trio.
Yeah, and they're going to have a lot of room. Now, generally, you don't see a ton of contention going on in Greasy, but because of the tacos and just the faster looting, and you have the rift spawns directly to your north that also give you about 300 plus brick if you break it down, you're effectively able to only farm up wood and the metal that's available in there, rotate over the rifts, and then get out of dodge. There's also a number of driftboard spawns there, so your options aren't limited coming out of here. It's just playing around Taco Time. If you're able to do it and the contestant is there, you're set.
We do know for sure, based on tweets and things like that, that there are a lot of high-skilled trios that have dropped out here in the southwest corner of the map. And with Greasy where it is, you face a potential chance the players are going to rotate in and through, or at least around. So there's a chance that people are going to try and skirt your drop, take shots on the move. Tossley, Schneider, TK down here. They own Lucky Landing. You have quite a few materials, a little bit of a loot share in the bottom. They own it now, by the way. You see they have 3 eliminations thus far. An infantry rifle early game is a solid pickup. You have a chance to guarantee some mid to late game eliminations.
But sitting on only 75 effective HP, he needs to find some shields. And, as I said, that slurp juice comes to the rescue. And honestly, he should probably be looking to just hold on to that because this entire pagoda has been unlooted, so it should work top to bottom. And there's a chest right there if there's minis in that chest.
If there's minis.
I mean, he still has time to do it, obviously, right? But assuming he's going to loot pretty quickly. But you probably should have held that slurp. It's okay, though. Trying to maximize his efficiency, going to get the shells up top as well. And the chest up there now with the new... Oh, it's okay, bro. It's okay. Take a deep breath. Relax. You're fine. You got 3 points going on. Will now get the chest all the way up top. And they have figured out now that the change I'm a big fan of, if you break something, the chest now just opens up and gives you stuff. I can't tell you the number of times I broke something accidentally or like placed a ram's through something and ate a chest. So big fan of that.
That's actually a wild quality of life change because imagine like a chest that's sitting on like a table. Instead of taking the time to hold down the button to open it, you can one-tap the table to pickaxe and you get all the loot instantly. That little like speed increase for looting in some situations can give you elimination. Like if you have multiple people pressuring an area, you just pop the chest super quick with one swing, grab everything inside and use it. That can be huge.
Yeah, I mean, it's created a lot of different interactions. And I mean, my big fan is the old pirate camps. He used to actually have a single cart that if you mishit it at the wrong time, you just eat 2 chests. Yep. And the number of times I did that. But now on board with Booga as they rotate through that first set of bridges, found a launch pad, bubble shields, but he is still wanting of a shotgun right now. However, that Epic Tac SMG will still rip it up, going to pick up the uncommon shotgun over there as well. So really rounding out his loadout. Because they pulled zone, they should be looking to hit 1,500 mats as soon as possible, and then be looking basically for unlooted areas in the center in order to upgrade their weapons.
At this point, like you said, a lot of materials just sitting out here. You got walls multiple sources of metal, a chance to just kind of dance around up here. No one's going to apply pressure. You see the full mini-map in the bottom right corner of your screen. We know for sure that they're pretty much free and clear to loot right here. Most of the teams are still on the outside of what is the next safe zone. South edge, super safe. Far east side, super safe. A lot of chances for these players to build up big material counts before they start to make moves. And one of the things that you're going to see as we start to get closer towards the next rotation, once these circles start to close down, I was literally about to say, he marks it right there. You're going to see these players that have secured loadouts start to go for chances for even higher loot. If you didn't land retail, you kind of got to make up that, it's not really slack, but there are players that have gold weapons, things like that out there. You want to try and get a buffer like that too, and so you're going to see people like Booga push those crates.
And everyone is pushing towards that crate right now. You saw them tag it. There's a team already directly on it. Clicks, Crimson, Spades are all headlining towards it because people realize NA East in particular is a much more passive region. People enjoy playing for late game. They think that if they're able to get there with consistent loadouts, that's when they're able to make plays and convert on it. This is going all the way back to Summer Skirmish Week 1. If you compare NA East directly to Europe, by like a margin of nearly 20 to 30%, the elimination curves are more steep in Europe. What that means particularly for trios, as the map is more spread out, you're looking for key moments when engagements will happen. The supply drop is one of them. When Storm Surge ends up being forced on is another, or as the half in, half out forces rotation and for utility to be burned and people moving towards it. But now Clicks looking to try and catch somebody on the rotate, takes the shot right as the jump comes through. Little bit of support coming through from Crims, and they unfortunately trade out a headshot on the other side of that. Clicks getting ripped for 68 there.
This is a really confident trio too. They typically they land pleasant, and like a word of advice for people, going pleasant is going to be tough. This trio will literally rock your games, 6 out of 6 times if you make your way over there. It's not really an intimidation thing. It's more of just like they're very, very confident in their positioning and play style. So pleasant, if they do end up going there, it's going to be a tough drop for anybody.
I see what you did. I know exactly what you did. You get, yes.
Merely just talking strategy here, man.
Yep, that was a very analytical there. Sometimes it's just, you don't want to get rocked right off the bat. 6 out of 6 sounds very threatening. And,
exactly.
I heard Eclipse, they told them not to. They just don't blame them, man. It's okay.
They're pushing far south. Everybody pretty much has to move to the very south end of the map. You've got a lot of teams that are going to start running into each other in rotation. You see Salty very, very empty right now. Potential chance for some free loot on the move here.
Also, definitely do want to give a shout out to Zimio and the Fortnite competitive team. He's been Fortnite competitive Reddit. He's one of been on there all the time. He's kind 100%. Of like their herald, able to get all the way through. Just saying, like, kind of he's the homer for that group, and everyone kind of rooting for him.
Oh, people gas him up in there all the time, which is great to see.
Oh yeah, and you gotta love when the support comes through. But now with some nades coming out, an aspect on the other end of that being caught right at the max distance. Not sure if they had the nags up, but 9Breeze trying to get the follow up, and a good job from Staxy, Strobe, and Breeze. And Staxy was absurdly pumped yesterday as well. He's like, grand finals, anything, if you set your mind to it, you can do it. Taking down the aspect right there. I mean, one of the favorites of the trios. We saw them play so well yesterday, made the solos for the Fortnite World Cup, and just a big upgrade in loot from that as well.
Kind of a scary situation now for Bucky and Animal. Going to have to rotate away right there. Remember, this is just game 1. NA East Finals. A lot of opportunities for players to make some plays over the course of the next 6 games. Satsy, Breeze, and Strobe making a move here. That one elimination solid already. The launch pad for rotation. If they do get caught out here, they can burn that in kind of a pinch situation if they don't want to take any risks or anything like that. But I would hope an opportunity to save it would come through here. There are 3 trios, well, 2 trios and a duo left in front of them directly south, which means squeaking into this next safe zone is going to be difficult. You see Symphony, Reverse, and Slacks on the left side there using that shield bubble to make their way in safely, although giving away their position almost entirely to anybody that has line of sight.
Yeah, they're using the driftboard on the shield bubble, or the shield bubble on the driftboard as their center rotation. That's Symphony who is piloting that one. Now we're looking over onto the flip side as Macwood, Sexual, and Calculator are up on the high ground, but under fire. Some Solari nades coming out towards the top, but disengaging down after the 100 ticks come through. Calc does take a little bit of damage. Firing the RPG out should look to cover it up, but reset that wall. You don't want to catch a sniper. We saw what happened to MMB. An early snipe can be absolutely tilting, but now Macwood just posted up. They have decent positioning, but the problem is because of where they are on the map, a lot of people are going to want priority on the zone here, and they can still be shot down from one other higher area. So they have to be very careful. And as I say that, Bugga gets ripped apart, and those edge of walls can be very difficult to actually build on. There's a couple areas where you sneak out, and Bugga is trying to disengage. 31 tag on somebody else, but a trade out right there. 2 headshots coming through very quickly to force Macwood back down. Say, hey, back off. That's my teammate.
Take a second, pop some minis, maybe a chance for a splash. Everybody stacks together. Macwood, though, staying built up inside here, paying the price for a little bit too long of a peak. Going to be okay in the grand scheme of things. Zexro, 100 HP, 100 shield, 1 elimination thus far. 103 total builds. They're going to share there. There's those splashes. Everybody pushed up a little bit more. Bugha, Stretch, and Clarity all still in this match. Not looking too great in terms of HP and shield in comparison. Meanwhile, Schneider pushing into the box of Macwood, Zexro, and Young Calculator finding that second elimination for the trio.
That was definitely a Storm Surge full tilt going. Like, that was like, hey, we're about to go down anyway. He got just destroyed with that one body shot coming through onto Zex, but that looked like it was a last second, hey, we have to go, which when forced into it, if you're not able to get tags early on or catch tags when rotating, it's tough. Sometimes you do have to full send. I can't imagine you're pushing in to such a fortified position if that's not the case.
Yeah, W keying, and at that point, you're either throwing or you're too worried about Storm Surge threshold. And you see, even still now, Zexro and crew are only 27 above before they start taking damage.
2 more players need to go down.
Yep.
Again, Storm Surge's thresholds are 70, 70, 50, 50, 30, 30 for players remaining in the respective circles. Storm Surge works is 25 damage every 10 seconds, and it is dealt to the most passive players in the lobby, defined by who has not been doing damage to their opponents.
You know, it's interesting. So Schneider had rotated up north out of Lucky. A team has now moved into that same position. Granted, a lot of it's been looted, but it's uncontested now, which is a big pickup for the trio that moved in.
Yeah, and you can see that zone actually pulled almost as far northwest as possible from that circle, which means a lot of movement's going to go through. Niddle, Casker, and Schmack all just get dropped. That was another true hood alive. Bucky on the receiving end of this now, caught in the open. Can they get the full? That's 221s. Chap with the beams coming through, and he does. Chap saying, this one's for the Liquid Boys. Let's send it on out. Him, Vivid, and Sizz Lucky were second place to Bucky, Animal, and Aspect yesterday. But he said, hey, we're the #1 team who didn't end up going retail. We felt like we executed on our game plan well. We don't expect people to get that uncontested in the grand finals, so that means we like our chances. And honestly, they've played in this situation for how long? They know all of these trios. This is what they practice for. They've been in the same lobbies. They know these players' tendencies, and they might be one of the dark horses to potentially challenge for a top spot after the performance yesterday.
And you called Chap old yesterday.
I called them older veterans.
I'd go with experience. Your boy Chap out here with Vivid and Sizz Lucky. A solid trio.
I mean, when they're nearly double the age of like the Mega, Tubbs, and Eclipse, they're not double, but like 10 plus years. Like,
all right now.
They're definitely on the older end of the spectrum, but not taking away from their ability to execute at all. Still sitting on an Elim in great position right now. Plenty of shields, plenty of mats. Center zone on zone 4, and a lot of trios are going to have to rotate into them. And that, oh God, that's almost like a bait, right?
100%. You don't step out and go for that just yet. I think you wait on rotation when people are too distracted by anybody else flying through the air. That's a big grab for them if they do move over and grab it. And you have made the recommendation. Metal as the structure is huge. You protect against Solari Nade unless it's just an absolute onslaught. But you don't want to go get that crate just yet because everybody right now is watching for people that are trying to make moves early. You want to wait till the chaos cuts loose and you can make a move when everyone else is distracted. So I do hope they pick that crate up if they get a chance. But they are already in the safe zone, so maybe it's not worth it at this point.
I figured, but oh no. No,
scuffed launch pad.
He caught the corner of his head, and Kadrit actually gets beamed out.
Oh, my gosh.
They both got beamed out of the sky. Kez and Sebi trading out. Now he's going to land in the tree, shockwave out just to try and pull center zone. He says, peace, guys. I'm playing for placement now. We have our 5 elims already, so not in an awful position, but you just have to leave them go. And, I mean, Shy and Monster talked about this all the time. If you don't do a low launch when you have the ability to, you're asking to get beamed. You're asking to get L2'd. You're asking to get mongreled. You'll be caught out of the sky as Mega Taiga and Dubs pick up a number of elims there, and Tabs out. Oh, quick edit! Gets 145 onto the player, trying to follow up with the spray. Kuna stares in the box, but the other side of the bubble shield allows for the disengage. Can he pick up the 6 elim? Will he find it? Does. Spades goes down. Shio's pick. You said your predictions were good. Not so good right there, as Tabs picks up elim number 6. Does have the attack, being pinned in by the minigun right now, but Clarity also is able to pick up an elim. And this is the time, notice now, they're trying to branch over towards that supply crate while it's all going on. It's not going to happen. Monster D faces pick. Zate, Saf, and Zypha still in the match as well, but down to their trusty duo.
Looking for a heavy snipe combo here. Just a quick note, if you're working on your box fighting, that kind of thing, I know a lot of pro players already know this, but if you edit that window open, you get a ramp or pyramid placement inside in their box. It is so much easier to apply pressure after that because you know they can't ramp against you. I would recommend definitely working on that. Saf, though, shots here. Saf and Zate still up. Said Zypha out of it. No eliminations thus far, but this compact attack SMG right there trying to find a hit through the surfaces. Burns through walls so fast, and it's Tfue caught off guard, going for the loot in the corner to make his way through there. Pressure still being applied here. They're going to try and burn through as many materials as possible. I think for just a second, there were in fact shots from yet another angle on the player that is trying to build and defend there. We are at the 50-50 circle. 57 seconds until this closes, but there's a lot of players on the south side of this. They're going to have to make a move here. Zate looking to see if he can find a beat on a player underneath, just kind of owning the environment. And here we go, the shockwave setup there, and these players, this catches back up. They're going to go all the way up top, drop back down a little bit, trying to establish a base of operations up here.
And Vivid just picked up Stretch as well, so him and Lucky and Chap are able to do well. Plus, the OCA invasion is coming through. Parpy still putting up numbers. That is their second or third elim that we've seen. 19 trios remaining, 47 players left in the lobby. Still over half of the people who loaded into the game are here and stacked on top of each other, moving into Circle 6. And now this is about your teamwork and how well you're able to execute together, because this is what Fortnite is all about. The late game, the zone wars, the tunnels, the builds, the quick edits. Who will be the hero? Quick double snipe at close range, not able to find it as Zay and Saf are going hunting.
I would expect you see the minigun fire over there, maybe a little window edit, a cheeky shot from one of these two heavy snipers to see if they can find a bead on an opponent. Right now, just using the transparency in the metal walls. That's where they do the edit and reset to track anybody marking a spot for a shot. Seeing if there's anybody over there. Nobody quite yet. Now they are. We can see the silhouettes, and that transparency may give away their location. He's looking up top. This kind of awareness is key. They're making sure they're keeping track of anybody that they think may still be around them. And if they saw that launch pad, you know that the team that may be the ones that we're going to challenge on the move, they're gone. So that they are free to move. Tabs goes down in the feed. Macwood picking up 2 knocks. Zora, Jalen both down now. Landing directly on Snake. Saf says, this is my box now. The trap play and the block. The push into the corner. Saf's awareness is literally through the roof right now. Stays alive without taking a point of damage and picks up a back-to-back. 2 elims now for Saf. You are insane.
That ramp was so good because it blocked the trigger on the trap. He still moved to the correct corner anyway, but he had an insurance policy. You also see a little bit of revenge going down as Parpy was able to pick up part of the Macwood trio. Lucky still picking up elims as well. We're closing in on top 12, which is that first big placement threshold. And now we have a third tier Storm Surge going on. Saf does get the conversion there onto Snake. Lucky picking up another elim as well. Calc picking up reverse in the feed, and they're still rolling. This is now 3 elims all on the back of Saf, but they've been in this position before. Looks for the snipe, doesn't find it onto the high ground. Knocked down a level when he needs to get back to his partner. He says, all right, Shockwave's up, time to go. High ground retake on the far side of the zone. Boxes up, and he's going to reset. 14 trios remaining. Parpy goes down. Still 14 left. Kez goes down. Thwipo is down. Zexro gets knocked to make it 13, but Falter gets converted by Cloud, and we have our top 12.
Literally the feed in the top left, one of the most important spots to watch. Fuzzy knocked down in the bottom. Zate finding an elimination. First game thus far, Dubs gone. Inspire picking up 2 in the feed. Flossin takes Kaz out. Fuzzy knocks Dubs. So many eliminations and knocks going through here. We watch Zate double back, gonna pick up some loot on the outside, but all the way on the ultimate high ground. The most established tarp right now, Chap, Vivid, Lucky having the top down on everybody else.
Top eight. Another round of placement points going through. Calculator, I think, just missed out on that unless any of his teammates are still up. Knifer also going down. What season is it? Saf and Zate still up and running. Vivid and Chap on the high ground with Sizz Lucky. Bring it back.
For it.
Season 3, Season 4. Zate challenges up. They have high ground now. We've seen what they can do with it. The shockwave brilliantly done. Hits one pump, hits the second, but return fire. Chap says liquid up. Picks up one, picks up two, and the Ghost duo goes down. Zate goes down. Top 5, 6 elims, and no one is even close to them. They aren't threatened anymore. That was the last retake.
This trio playing out of their minds right now. Love to see it. Shots down from above. A little bit of pressure. They're looking up top. You hear that shockwave sound. All of them instinctually just look straight up into the air. Stowe polarized on the outside. Polarized picking up that elim. Mega still in this as well. Down to 3 trios remaining. Looking at the very final eliminations of this game. Can Chap, Vivid, and Sizz Lucky establish dominance and take this first game of the NA East Finals? We will see here in a moment. Shots from above still. Just looking to see if they can find a beat on somebody. Chap holding the high ground as the others on the trio
Inspire
push down.
just clutched the 1v2.
Here we go. Looking for a shot. A 1v3 situation. The drop-in. Inspire goes down, and Chap, Vivid, and Sizz Lucky take home the first victory royale.
22.7 elims, 15 there. Like I said, what season is it? Inspire going to work on the low ground, but the Liquid duo and Sizz Lucky are able to rise up and take game 1 of NA East. Zeke, the grand finals are kicking off, aren't they?
Oh man, it's good to see our old boy Vivido up at the top of the leaderboards. What do you think?
100% experience trumping the aggressiveness of all these young players, right? The classic duo, Chap, Vivid, always on top. The nice addition of Sizz Lucky to their trio as well. These guys had some experimentation with how they play. Let's see how everyone else did, though, with the NA East standings. Was it enough for everyone else who was near the bottom, the top 2 to 10? Zeke, break it down.
All right, so with that victory royale and the 7 eliminations, right now, because of tiebreakers, they're sitting on top of the leaderboards. Don't forget, though, Inspire's crazy last moments there, getting him the extra 3 points. So even though his team placed second for 12 points, it's like they got the victory royale, basically. Those extra 3 points helping tie them up. Right now, Not Panda, Buzzy, Stowe, we saw their performances in the heats yesterday, and they are back to remind us that they are a power trio.
Yeah, one thing to point out as well, we saw it in EU near the end. It's kind of developing in NA East now. The big names are up there, but we have a little bit of inclusions of new names coming up too. We don't usually see up top. Like we have Spirox Trio, very up high at the moment. We have Koo, Snake, and Knifer. We don't usually see them near the top of these big grand finals, as well as near the bottom. Actually, no, everyone else just looks real good. Everyone else has been top 8 in their heats. They've been, well, of course, they qualify for grand finals, but top 8 when they're qualifying. When they got into their heats as well, they got up through and qualifying. When they got into their heats as well, they got up through and they qualified there as well. There's no actual really upsets going on at the moment, but we saw it with MMB as well. When you're near the top, a lot of pressure's there now, right? The entire map tries to change. The players try to change their game plan, their loop paths to kind of go towards you, right? So let's just check out. We're talking about Inspire near the end, clutching out. Let's see a few of his moments and how they played out near the end of the game. I think we do have a few packages to run through ourselves. Boom. Replay goes to Inspire with that nice clutch solo dolo at the moment. 4 elims on him, and placement is still available. He needs to be able to clutch out for those 3 extra points, the elim being another. He gets that big pump down coming in from the backside of the storm. This is where accuracy is important, but the switch up, right? He knows exactly where to go, still buys more time and lets the last trio actually work for that final elim, showing that NA East, even when they have what they want to get, still plan out more, and their instincts are just there to place their builds at the right moment, Zeke.
Man, he put the team on his back in that moment, back against the wall. He needed to make something happen, and sure enough, he did. So right now, 2 people going head-to-head for first place. Now, that was just the first game. This is just game number 1 of 6. This is absolutely insane. I believe we have more highlights coming out of this last game. what an impressive showing coming out of NA East.
Yep, we have a few key elims here. We call them impact frags usually, but these are happening earlier in the game. Taco time. It's not only the pressure of your actual place on the leaderboard, whether it's middle, early, or end game, but also the timing on getting your actual elims while taco time has a threat of happening and stopping the momentum of your trio in Greasy Grove. Now tossing it over to Tossily, who's in Lucky Landing, positioning on that low ground, making sure his actual natural movement is making the most in his actual box fights and fights vertical, horizontal, all in between. Unfortunately, he goes down, gets picked up, the finish comes through as well. Elims, Zeke, are some of the most important things early on in the game to set you up for the rest of your game.
And Schneider is just going to try and make something happen here in his game, rocking that beautiful skin I still don't have. Wits just eats the front end of his barrel. And that's just going to spell the end for them.
Yeah, this is also a little bit of a comment on following up with your elims. The shield bubble gets thrown, but you can always counteract that by getting in and personal. So easily picking that elim up plus some extra loot. We talk about it, right? Mid-games. When you're rotating off of your loot path, you think about different things. Stuff happens to where your trio is split. You see a lot of that here. One-off elims where trios are kind of trying to catch up to each other or get back to the same game plan. Before Zone 5, that's the hardest to see. Now, one of the best box fighters and the kind of pop-off factor of the trio of Clicks, Crims, and Spades, Crims has very nice supporting play from the shadows to come in and confirm elims whenever he is needed in support with his trio. Knifer now, one person we talked about who's on top of the leaderboards at the moment, is going to come through. We'll see his kind of fight style of patience, staying back with his trio, waiting, watching, and then reacting. Go Saf now, one of the veterans, the mid-ground tarp. This is why it's so good to stay mid-ground and utilize elims you can see from the storm. You have an entire wall to base your actual sightlines off of. If you see the blue, that fight is basically for you in those moments. You just look back, tack SMG, builds, doesn't matter. I'm going to follow through. I'm going to get those big shots down. Speaking about big shots, the guys who won the actual entire lobby, Vivid, Sizlucky, Chap, let's see how they broke down their middle to end game engagements. Right now, we saw this peak yesterday. Lupo had a lot of comments on it. The double 3 square peak from your box offers so much utility on actual protection when you're looking at what's going on, and it translates you to get to this moment of your game, right? Going for an actual knockdown and a quick reaction as well, showing that Chap still has got what it takes to move around really fast up with the young competition. Zay, you know, one big person to actually fight when it comes to those mid-game box fights. In the end game, Chap reigns victorious with that 200 pump. Then dropping down. I think Brazil still does this in the best way in terms of waterfalling and getting people as they come down towards the ground. But NA East variation depends, once again, a lot on patience, right? They wait till the absolute last moment. Inspire's down there with someone else. They let that fight finish before they drop down first. That's kind of the older style of play you used to see in earlier seasons, right? You might not be able to maximize points, but you get that win regardless. The placement being so much more important. And then Chap waiting around for the angle, any type of contingency to get in, get the drop down elim, and get their win for the rest and of the momentum for their games coming forward.
You know they're feeling really good after that last game. Now, of course, we love talking about NA East, but let's not forget, Brazil is going on right now at the same time. We have the standings from their first game. We can see who is currently at the top of the leaderboard. Wait, what? Who's that up there, Shy? Who's that up there, Shy?
Techno Viking, Avalar, and Snow from the red team. These guys, you can have this one.
This is my prediction, all right? I've said we've kept seeing these guys come closer and closer to qualifying. Almost made it to World Cup. They got that Week 4 win, and they are here to say, Zeke, don't worry. We got your back. I said, all right, let's get it.
One thing you can actually notice right now, the top 10, it's very, very different from other regions, right? With aggressivity being so top-heavy, with the best trios being up top and kind of raining down all the time. I pointed it out earlier, their waterfall mechanics, they pick up so much going down. Information, elims, 29 points at the top, 6 points for 10th place at the moment. So the guys up top, they're eating, Zeke.
They are nice and eating. I like the food punch. All right. Well, Fortnite fam, we're not going to hold you up too much longer. We will be checking in with Brazil a little later on. But for now, let's send it back in game with Dr. Lupo and Sundown for Game 2 of NA East.
Thank you so much, gentlemen. And here we are, Game 2. And I mean, a lot of elims coming through in Brazil. The question is, can they keep it rolling? And right now, signaling the bat man right there, bat signal up in the sky.